Hey, what's up, everyone? Trent here at Precision Transmission. I'm sure y'all wonder how we learn, or how I learned how to learn some of these new transmissions. Well, my dad, he is one of the big reasons how I learn, but also we are technicians with Automatic Transmission Service Group, and they take care of us with our manuals. It's pretty much like going to college in a book. So I take this thing home and I study it and I learn everything about it, how the transmission works, what makes what work, what clutch comes on to make what work. And I'm going to go over this with y'all today. Now, I'm not going to go and read the book for you. Y'all can do that. I'm going to go slow enough to where y'all can go back and pause the video page by page, and you can go and read this stuff. Because, you're talking about some magnificent shifting transmission. It's crazy how this thing shifts and what all works. You have here, as you can see, you've got your park, reverse, neutral, drive, which that's number one. You got D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, and then you have your manual second, manual first. As you can see, if you come out of park and go to reverse, what comes on to make this thing go in reverse? Your 3-5 reverse clutch, and then your low reverse clutch comes on to back up. And then neutral, drive. So we've got it in drive, we're about to take off. Your 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch is applied. Your low reverse clutch is applied. And your lower sprag is holding to make this thing take off. And then once it goes and shifts a second, your 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch stays on. Your low reverse clutch comes off, your low sprag comes off, and your 2-6 clutch is applied. And then if you come here, if you look at your torque converter clutch, they apply it everything after second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. This thing is locked up the whole time after it makes its second gear shift. Then goes down to third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. You see how it works. Pretty cool there. And then here we have our technical service information on your control solenoid body and TCM assembly. So this shows you what solenoids are on to make it go forward on the electronic part, go backwards. Your D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, manual second, and manual first. You can go through there. So say we want to back up. Shift solenoid 1 is on. Everything looks to be off. And then we have our line pressure control solenoid is on to back up. That's the only thing. Then we go to drive. Looks like our shift solenoid 1 is on. Shift solenoid 2 is on. Our 1, 2, 3, 4 solenoid is on. Our 3-5 reverse clutch solenoid is on. And then our low reverse clutch is on, which would be solenoid 3. Y'all guys can go through that. It's a sequence. It's crazy. It's a lot to explain. I learn daily on these things, just like everybody else does. I'm 28 years old, trying to learn this stuff just like my dad. And this is one way how. I mean, he did the same thing. Will show you our technical books that we have. I mean, they are this thick. They're a mile wide. But it shows you your electronic components. Oh, my leg's cramping. Sorry, guys. I just want to go by this page by page. Sorry, I'm trying not to shake. I shake. Nothing I can do about it, guys. They call it a genetic hand tremors. Go look it up. Temp sensor. These things work off a transmission temperature sensor too. So pretty cool. Tell you about them going into fail-safe mode to try to protect them. These vehicles, if something fails and the electronic part is working, it will work itself into the ground. But if you have an electronic issue, the computer will actually tell it, say, hey, I've got an issue, and put it in a what's called limp mode. We'll take off second, third gear. I'm not for sure what this thing goes to. Okay, look. Says if the transmission is in first, second, or third gear during the electronical fault, the transmission will default to a third gear. See? There we go right there. This book tells you everything. It's awesome. I'm luckily to have it. I'm happy to be able to... Hold on, I'm trying to set that thing up. It keeps sliding. Happy to be able to go through it with y'all guys. I mean, because there's a lot that goes in to a 6L80 transmission. Same thing as 6L90, a little bit bigger unit. Same thing, a lot of electronic components. Telling you everything, how it works. I mean, these books are cool. So you probably were wondering where your neutral safety switch is. That is it. It's actually in the transmission. A little different than your 4L60, 4L65, 4L70s. I mean, these are really cool. Really cool. Very sophisticated unit. I mean, it isn't, but it is. And the best thing, learning what does what, how it works. Being able to build one is okay, but if you don't know what does what and how to fix it, then you can be in issues. This diagnostic trouble codes that can occur in this unit. Oh, sorry, switching hands. It's crazy. These transmissions are awesome. I mean, you ought to see these 8 speeds and 10 speeds we're getting into these days. I mean, they're just getting very sophisticated. This tells you here your check ball location, how your check balls come on to make your clutches work. It's pretty cool. Get in on that stuff really nice. This is your lower valve body spacer plate side. And that's your actual lower valve body, the solenoid body side. I mean, these books are awesome. Y'all should feel a little special right now. This is your passage identification. I mean, these books go into everything. What does what, where fluid goes, from valve body to pump, which way it's going, in and out. This is the case. See, if you're looking up at the vehicle, that's what it looks like in the case. Now we're going to get into taking this thing apart and what it looks like. Now this thing does take some special tools to just take apart. This isn't one you'll just be able to do in the garage, unless you are a very good mechanic. And I mean very good. And you better have your technical books, like your scanners. Well, that's not a book, but a scanner to start off, to make sure it's not having any codes. And then also, if you are changing the TCM, which is inside the transmission control module, you have to be doing a quick learn on these things to burn the VIN back in it, etc. So we go here from when these things first came out in a Corvette, Cadillac, CTS, your V6s, and then your GMCs, your Chevys, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, your holding fixture. So I'm just going to go by one and kind of let y'all guys get the idea. This right here is your main plug, notorious for leaking. You got to pull the pan off, hit this clip here, which will release your main plug to where you can change your O-rings. If you ever get fluid in your plug, it's because it's leaking around these seals in here, which is letting fluid come through. It's a common one we see in all the time. It's pretty cool. Said real sophisticated unit here. They all are sophisticated, and it takes one hickey. Oh, come on, there we go. These are starting to be those special tools I'm telling you about. I'll show you these bad boys once we get our 6L80E in. I'll show you what it takes to mess with some of these transmissions. That's a lifting tool. That's to pull your assembly out of there. This is our case flipped upside down. Kind of checking everything out. Your seals, bushings, pins, parking linkage. Another seal installer. This is a pretty crazy unit. They all are. Like I said, I can't say how many times I get to explain that, but they are. They're really crazy. Kind of like a 4L60E though. You got your pump rotor, you got your vanes, slide. I mean, it's really interesting how similar these transmissions are to a 4L60, 70, but how different they are as well. Make sure I got a good one of that. Then you got to get your measurements right as well, because I made three different thicknesses of your pump and rotor thickness. So, guys got to measure that as well. I'll show you all that one more time. 3 different sizes, so make sure. It shows you how to do it. On to the next page. Talking about installing the pump slide pivot pin in your spring. This is real important right here. I mean, putting this pump together. Very important. Very important on how you torque these as well. They have a torque sequence. Here they have an alignment band to make sure once you get it all together, everything is aligned nice and straight, like so. And then here we go to our 4-5 clutch pack. Or let's see, 434. That's our 4-5 clutch plates and frictions with 433 and 434 clutch plates and frictions. Rebuilding here. Have your ply piston. Has your balancing piston, 437. And then your ply piston, 439. Look, it even tells you about pre-soaking clutches. 30 minutes before. So y'all guys putting y'all's clutches in dry, I'd quit doing that. How after we set it up, how we need to air check it, how much clearance we should have in between our clutch pack. Get it too tight, it could burn up. You don't want to do that. Getting over here to our assembly, sorry guys, assembly of our high pressure rings. You're supposed to have a special tool for this one. We have a dampener over here, your 4, 5, 6 dampener. Here, now we're getting into our, what do we have? Got our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 5 Rev Clutch Housing. And if you can see, this is all one. This goes like this. This is all together. So it's going to go in as seen. Just follow. So it's going to go all these in here. It's going to go your pistons, then your clutches. This is going to be the very top. Top, bottom. Top, bottom. So you're going to start stacking. Wow. It's awesome. Here we have another special tool. Removable bridge bearing remover. Very cool. Here we're showing how to go back together with everything. Tells you how we're installing everything one by one. Each individual step. Tells you how much we want. Clutch pack clearance. Center support front side. Follow the arrows. This one's here. This one stops and goes here. So this one would go piston, snap ring, plate, clutches, same. You could get real backwards on one of these real quick if you're not careful. Or upside down. Sorry guys, y'all hear my cat. I'm at home, we're having a snow day. Just doing some reading up on our free time, trying to learn and get better. This is what we do. I'll show y'all what it looks like outside here in a second. It's been snowing, actually raining ice for 3 days straight, so it's been pretty bad for us for the past couple days. But it's getting better, and we'll hopefully be at work tomorrow, and we'll kind of show y'all what we got done. We're waiting on parts is our biggest deal. We can't get our hands on parts. Here we have our low reverse. Air check everything, guys. I mean, we do. That's how we know how to check this thing out, to make sure once we put it in, if you have any issues, if the vehicle actually has to, if the transmission has to come out to be repaired, or it can be fixed in the pan through the valve body, the electronic parts. So that's why hooking a computer to this before and after is very important, especially if you're replacing your full solenoid pack. It has to be reprogrammed. '59 is our 456 clutch hub thrust bearing assembly. 61 1 2 3 4 clutch hub and sun gear shaft assembly. Looks like we're continued to be built over here. I'm not as good as explaining these things as my dad, but it's hard to get us to both sit down at the same time to where we can explain these to you. But I'm sure this book right here, a lot of y'all get the point. We're showing output shaft assemblies. Hold on, sorry guys. Corvette, BMW, four-wheel drive. Rear carrier and output shaft. Oh, we're getting there. I'm telling you, it takes a lot to build one of these transmissions. People do not understand if you're changing out all the bushing seals, electronics, I mean, clutches. If you're taking these things apart all the way and doing them right, it takes time. And these rebuild kits are expensive. They're not cheap. Way over a grand. Way over a grand. If you're replacing just the rebuild kit parts, not any hard part damage. That's your normal rebuild. The hard parts, that's extra. These things can get expensive. They're all different, so you got to go in and price them out individually, but we can give you a ballpark normally. But a very awesome unit. This unit is pretty close, like I said, to this is a 6L80. This 6L90 is pretty much exactly the same. I think just a little bigger. Here, I think I went through that one too fast. Maybe that one too. No, I did that one. Gotta get in there for y'all. Bow body assembly. Sorry guys. Trying to get the camera repositioned.